You set foot on foreign soil. Only this land isn't ruled by any country or government. In this land we celebrate music. In this land we celebrate games. In this land we celebrate those who compose video game music. Welcome to the VG Embassy. Hello and welcome to another episode of the VG Embassy. This is a show centered around video game music and the amazing online community of fans and podcasters that enjoy it. My name's Ed, and on each episode I'll take the role of Prime VGM Minister and invite a guest VG Ambassador onto the show to share with us their own video game music culture. Or I may share a part of my culture on a solo show. Today is the cutest, pinkest episode we've ever done on the VG Embassy, because we're talking about Nintendo's very own Kirby. And I've got a number one Kirby fan here to talk about the little pink dynamo with me. Say hi, Logan.
Sup?
How you doing?
Good.
Good. This episode was your idea, right?
Yep.
Why did you want to do an episode on Kirby?
Because I thought that we wouldn't have a Kirby episode, so I just thought of it because we haven't had any Kirby episodes on VG Embassy before.
Oh, so you're not a fan of Kirby? You just wanted to do a Kirby episode?
No, Dad!
I know
That's
you're a super big fan of Kirby, right?
Yep.
What was the first Kirby game you remember playing?
Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Okay, so that was on the Wii U.
Yep.
And that was...
And it came out on 2011.
Yeah, and I remember...
That was weird. That was like the year I was born.
It was the year you were born.
That's weird.
I remember when you were starting to get into video games and you started playing Mario on the Switch and stuff. I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't even on the Switch. It was on the Wii U. You were playing some games on the Wii U, and I said, oh, Kirby's Return to Dreamland's on the Wii U. You would really like this. So I got it.
And I don't think I said this, but I think I remember saying, what's a Kirby?
What is a Kirby? So, well, Logan, what is a Kirby?
I think he's an amoeba. We have it up there somewhere.
You think he's an amoeba?
The 4-inch amoeba.
So, what does Kirby do? Like, first describe what Kirby looks like.
He's like a sphere. If you know him and you play Kirby games, then you'll probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's a little...
But if you don't, Kirby's a little pink amoeba, and if he sucks up an enemy, he has that power.
Exactly. So he looks like a little pink blob. He's got two cute little eyes and a mouth.
Yep.
And then little flappy fin-like arms.
Like little oval arms.
Yeah, and two little blue shoes on the bottom. And a super big mouth.
Yes.
Yes.
For sucking up things.
So, fans of Nintendo know who Masahiro Sakurai is. He's the mastermind behind all of the Nintendo Smash Brothers games. But did you know, Logan, that he created Kirby when he was only 19 years old?
I think he just wanted to make up a new character.
He did. Well, he was making a game for Game Boy, and it was going to be called Popopo, P-O-P-O-P-O. And he had a little circle character as the placeholder, like just a simple character that he can throw in there to like test out game design and stuff, and he was going to replace it with a regular character afterwards. And he put the regular character in there and started playing the game and said, I really think that little circle character was cute, and I want to put him back in the game. So they put the placeholder character back in the game, and he became Kirby.
Yep.
And they named Kirby after a lawyer named John Kirby, who helped Nintendo with all their legal stuff when they were getting their feet off the ground way back in the day. So it was a little way to honor a guy who helped them out a lot. So pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Kirby's world. Like, who are his friends? what happens to Kirby. You watch the cartoon a lot, right?
I used to.
Yeah.
Now I'm into, like, YouTubers and stuff.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what Kirby does. Like, who does he hang out with? Who are his enemies?
Well, one time in Kirby's Return to Dreamland, he has to fight his friend Meta Knight just for a battle to see who's stronger and if he can get better.
Meta Knight's like one of his frenemies. Sometimes he's friendly and sometimes he's not. Really depends. I think he started off as an enemy, and then later on in the series, he started to become more friendly.
Yeah, and started to help him out with enemies.
How about some other enemies? Who else does he have spats with?
He has, like, Hornhead, Flame, Sword, Cutter, and there's also bosses. But his real enemy is King DDD.
Who's King DDD?
He wants to, like, take Kirby so he can, like, take over the world. I don't know why. I don't know why villains want to take over the world.
They always want world domination. I guess they just want all the power and all the glory because they have big egos. But, yeah, and Kirby's a super powerful being. It can suck up things and take their powers and then use their powers. So I guess that's why villains want. And King DDD's this giant penguin who carries around a huge hammer.
Yep.
But
in Kirby Star Allies, there's like a little wand where you can choose something, but it's random, but it always goes slower. And I always choose Meta Knight because he can fly because he has wings.
Yeah, Meta Knight's one of my favorite guys to use in Smash Brothers too. He's a really powerful character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the sword.
Yep. All right, so before we start talking about any more of the games in particular, we have a pretty big show today. We are going to go through all of the Kirby main series games, starting with the very first one and ending on Super Kirby Clash, which just came out a couple days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah, on the Switch, and we've been playing that a little bit, so we've got some of our opinions on that. So to start off...
It's very fun. If you have a Nintendo Switch, download it right now.
Spoilers! We were going to talk about that at the end of the show, but I guess we'll talk about why it's so fun when we get to the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, that sounds
better.
Good. All right, so what is our first song that we're going to play from today?
Mount DDD. It came out on Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy in 1992.
And it's composed by Jun Ishikawa. All right, we'll be right back.
Let's get in. Welcome back. That was Stage 5 Mount DDD from Kirby's Dream Land. It came out on the Game Boy, 1992.
And that was composed by Jun Ishikawa. So how we're doing this podcast today is we're going to take little breaks while we listen to the music and
play the game.
And play the games, because Logan's not totally familiar with all of them, and I feel like it would be easy to get a good raw reaction immediately after playing the game, rather than playing them all up front and then trying to keep them all straight when we record a podcast afterwards. So we just took a little break and we played some Kirby's Dream Land. But before that, your pick of Mount DDD is very interesting. Why did you pick this song?
Well, because I just like the sound of this kind of chiptune track, because it sounds very familiar from other games.
Oh, like what other games?
I don't remember the name.
But it's got a very fast, kind of a rockin' sound, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this almost feels like a boss track. I think this is the track that plays when you're on one of the last levels as you're going to fight DDD, who's the final boss in this game.
It's only on stage 5.
Yeah, I think there's only 5 stages on this game. So this track was composed by Jun Ishikawa, who we're going to mention a lot in this podcast because he's kind of like the de facto main Kirby game composer. He came up with most of the melodies that we're going to be hearing and that are used throughout all the Kirby games. And I talked about him a lot, actually, way back on episode 3 when I did a solo show featuring the soundtrack from the Super Nintendo game Hyperzone. He wrote the soundtrack to that and talked a lot about his career and stuff. So go back and hit that episode if you want to learn more about Jun Ishikawa and also hear an amazing SNES soundtrack from him. So we're going to hear a lot of his music, and a couple other composers will pop up here and there in this show as well. So, getting into Kirby's Dream Land, Kirby's first ever appearance in a video game. What did you think? We played like the first stage and the first half of the second stage. What was your impression?
It's pretty fun. It's like Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Yeah, except for some differences, right? What was different about it?
There was different bosses, and it's like they're not like the same as in Kirby's Return to Dreamland. They're not the same bosses at all.
What's the one big thing that's missing from this game?
Well, since it's old, it's all pixely, but that's not really big. The really big thing is that the colors don't really match that well.
Well, we were playing on a Super Game Boy, so it was basically just making colors because the original Game Boy was one color. It was just a green screen. So you got green, dark green, and even darker green. So this kind of
even black.
Yeah, so this made kind
green,
of a pinkish color.
Green, darkest green, and black.
Yeah. So in this, all the enemies in Kirby were a pinkish color, and the background was blue, and then there was some yellow and green for the stage elements throughout.
There was also some purple.
Yeah, a little bit here and there, but the big major thing. What was missing?
What was missing?
What was missing? What's Kirby's main power?
Everything!
Everything what?
Beam, sword.
His copy ability.
Beam. Yes!
Yes, he doesn't have that in the first game.
Yeah, that's what makes it so dumb.
But it was still fun, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can understand why people wanted more Kirby games after this one, right?
Yeah.
And
because it's cute.
Yeah, so all Kirby could really do is suck enemies up. He could just spit them back out.
Yep. In a form of a star.
Yep, and he can fly and swim. But that was about it. Not too much going on.
And it's a very, very easy game, and he doesn't even need air.
Oh, when he's swimming. Yeah, he doesn't run out of what? He doesn't run out of air when he's swimming, but I don't think he ever does that in any of the games. Only lamos like Sonic lose air when they're underwater.
Lamo. And also Mario.
Mario sometimes needs air, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. In the new Mario game.
Yeah, I think that started in Mario 64. So, you want to move on to our next game?
Yep.
What game do we have coming up next?
Well, the track is Final Boss Nightmare from Kirby's Adventure. Came out on the NES in 1993. Composed by
Hirokazu Ando, Jun Ishikawa, and Hiroaki Suga. So Jun Ishikawa remained the main composer, but he was
like every song except for the next one that we have to do.
Yeah, just about. So we're going to listen to Final Boss Nightmare from Kirby's Adventure on the NES.
Welcome back. That was Final Boss Nightmare from Kirby's Adventure. Came out on the NES in 1993. Composed by
Hirokazu Ando, Jun Ishikawa, and Hiroaki Suga. You're picking some really fast, bossy music from these games, huh?
Yep.
That's your favorite stuff?
Yes.
So Kirby's music is usually very sweet and cartoony, and you're picking some of the more like really gritty, bossy stuff. But I've got some picks coming up that are a little more cartoony and sweet sounding.
Yep.
What did you like about this track so much?
I just like the fast beat in them. It sounds like a song that I listen to on a way to a long trip somewhere.
Cool. This one has a little bit more melody than the first one that we listened to.
Yep.
And that melody is a little more Kirby sounding. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Has some fun little rockin' beats there. Yep. I like this one a lot. And this whole soundtrack is good too. It incorporates a lot of the original melodies from the original Game Boy game and adds some extra percussion to it and really kind of ramps things up. And so what did you think about this game?
This game finally has Kirby's copy ability. 1 year later, they made a Kirby game, Kirby's Adventure, and Kirby finally has his copy ability, which makes it so much more fun than the first Kirby game that ever came out.
Yeah, it did. And it adds a lot more to the gameplay. It adds a lot more fun because Kirby's not just a little dude who sucks enemies up and spits them out. Now he's got swords and fire and electricity and all sorts of really cool stuff. And Spark. And they incorporate those abilities into the gameplay and the levels too.
And finally, Aqua.
He has an Aqua ability?
Yeah, it's just farther in the game.
Oh, okay. And he has
Because it's Kirby Star Allies.
I see. Speaking of Aqua, he has now the ability to swim up and down and left and right a little bit better because he had some underwater elements in the original Game Boy game, but he would just kind of like walk underwater and then kind of like jump up. But now he's actually got swimming animations and diving animations, and that looks really cool. Well, yeah, but nobody can see your arms flapping around on the podcast, silly.
I know.
That was cute, though. So we played again the first 2 levels just to get you kind of familiar with it. And one of the parts in the first level, you needed the Spark ability to get a Metamato, which fills your health, right? And that was one of the parts that we saw, that you need to have an ability to get a certain thing.
Yes.
So it's not like the abilities were just kind of like thrown into the game. They actually added those abilities as gameplay elements, which was really cool. And I think that's why people started really liking Kirby so much, because it was really simple and fun on the outside, but it had a lot of really cool fun gameplay, right?
Of course.
Of course. So coming up next is Kirby's third appearance. What's that one called?
Well, this one is called Unused Song because it was unused from Kirby's Dream Land 2. It came out on the Game Boy in 1995 because one of the years had 2 Kirby games that weren't really like that. He had an adventure to try to beat bosses. They're like a bowling game.
They weren't in the main series.
No. And there was also 1 year that no Kirby games came out, so it skipped 2 years.
Right. So this came out in 1995.
Yep.
And composed by Hirokazu Ando and a newcomer, Tadashi Ikegami.
Yep. Haven't heard of that one. So let's get into it. Welcome back. That was Unused Song from Kirby's Dream Land 2. Came out on the Game Boy in 1995, composed by
Hirokazu Ando and Tadashi Ikegami. So Unused Song, this probably was going to be... What kind of song do you think this was going to be?
I thought this was going to be like one of the boss level songs. so I don't really know if it was gonna be used.
It definitely sounds like a boss song. I don't think you'd be listening
Like
to the song.
the real final boss.
Maybe. Something like that. Or a boss that got cut from the final release of the game.
Yeah,
something.
because...
It's pretty fast and intense.
Yeah, they might use that boss, but then a really good Kirby player, he tried to play it and he said it was too hard.
Whoa.
I think. I don't know. So I guess they just made it an unused song.
Yeah. So what did you think about Kirby's Dream Land 2?
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. It's another Game Boy game,
Yep.
so it looks very similar to the original.
There's a secret door somewhere in the second level somewhere, and in a door there's another door which leads to a secret room, and I've been trying to get up into there. I got off the hamster with no powers. I tried to suck the blocks up, but they didn't suck up, so I just skipped that part.
Yeah.
Maybe with a different power you could use it, like with Smash.
Maybe. Yeah. So there's a big room with this kind of rotating crystal in the middle, and the music gets all twinkly and nice sounding.
Oh, not twinkly and nice sounding. It sounds pretty creepy.
Do you think it was creepy? I can see that too. Anyways, yeah, the blocks wouldn't smash, so we have to figure out what to do at that point. But the game was really fun, and you mentioned a hamster, so there's new stuff in this game, right?
Yep. Also the ocean sunfish.
Yeah, so there's 3 different animal friends that you can get. You want to tell me what they are?
There's the hamster, the owl, and the ocean sunfish. Rick, Coo, and Kine.
Yeah, Rick the hamster, Coo the owl, and Kine the ocean sunfish, and those give Kirby enhanced abilities, whether he's trying to run around on the land, or fly in the sky, or swim in the ocean, and they'll make each 3 of those abilities a little stronger.
There's also Kirby's Dream Land 3, there's more. That's the next sound we're gonna be playing.
Yeah, so, were there any cool new abilities in Kirby's Dream Land 2 that you saw?
Not really.
Yeah, you pretty much just get fire and the umbrella, but I think the umbrella wasn't in the Nintendo game, right? I didn't see if that was...
They're all Nintendo. Kirby's all Nintendo.
The NES game. Kirby's Adventure is what I'm talking about.
Well, they just added that one, but it's not actually called Umbrella, it's called Carousel.
Parasol.
Yeah, Parasol.
Yeah.
From in Kirby's
A
Dream
parasol,
Land.
yeah, a parasol is a certain type of umbrella that is for fashion and for blocking the sun rather than carrying
And
around
it's
in the
usually
rain.
black or red and white.
In the game, yeah. But parasols in real life are usually like a pinkish or a whitish. They're more of a feminine fashion accessory.
Yeah.
Cool. Would you recommend people play Kirby's Dream Land 2?
Yes.
Yeah. You liked it?
Mm-hmm.
You ready to play the next one?
Yes.
All right, well, what do we got coming up next?
We got Candy Mountain from Kirby's Superstar, came out on the SNES in 1996, composed by...
This one's Jun Ishikawa and Dan Miyakawa. Let's take a listen.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. That was Candy Mountain from Kirby Superstar. Came out on the NES on 1996. SNES on 1996. Keep getting them confused because it's NES, SNES.
Yeah. And that was composed by Jun Ishikawa and Dan Miyakawa. This is more like what the early levels of Kirby music sound like, right? Very bubbly, very happy.
Yep.
Very fast and frenetic. What did you like about this song?
It just sounds nice. And, like, calm, fun music.
Not like boss music where it's like angry.
No.
This is just like strolling through a world.
Yeah, because there are really no things that are like that right now in that game.
Yeah, I don't know if there's too many really crazy, evil-sounding boss music in Kirby Superstar. I do know that there are a lot of different games you can play, though, and a lot of them are really fun, and a lot of them are really hard, too.
Mm-hmm.
So you were struggling on one of the games. Which one was that?
Gourmet Race.
Yeah, King DDD's Gourmet Race.
Yep.
Basically,
it's just called Gourmet Race.
Yeah, the object of the game is you have to speed run a level and collect as much food as you possibly can.
Yep.
And you're racing against King DDD, and DDD's really, really, really good, even on the first level.
Yeah.
So you have to like memorize everything.
Isn't he supposed to be very slow since he's very fat?
I know, but I guess
he's
not.
a fat penguin.
He's a fat penguin that can run really, really fast.
That's so weird.
But this game has a lot of different games in it, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the games that you played?
Megaton Punch.
Mm-hmm. What's that one about?
It's like a game where you try to punch the planet apart so you could get different things to do in that. Because we don't really have all of them. There's 2 more things that we still don't have in there.
Oh, well, when you start Kirby Superstar, yeah, there's 2 games that you need to unlock, and that's by beating 2 of the main games. So Megaton Punch is one of the, like, side games. It's just a series of meters that go up, and you have to get 3 meters at the exact right time. And
to
then
punch the whole planet.
And you punch the, what was it, Superstar Planet? Star Planet? Star? Pop Star?
It's...
Star? Superstar? Kirby Superstar?
It's Pop Star!
Okay, so you punch Pop Star as hard as you can, and you try to crack it in half, and you see how good your punch was compared to your enemy's punch.
Yep.
And you can play 1 player or 2 players, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
There's another one called Samurai Kirby, where you do a duel, and as soon as an exclamation point appears on the screen, you have to press a button as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And the faster one wins.
Like, if it takes, 0 seconds for you to, 0 milliseconds to press it, right before it shows up, press it, and then you would beat them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't press it in 1 millisecond. That's just impossible to program.
Yeah, the computer would be way too hard to beat if it was that fast. And then there are a
Yep.
couple of other games like the Great Cave Offensive and Spring Breeze, and what's the other one? Dynablade?
Yep.
And those games are more like the traditional
Dynablade
Kirby
and
games.
Spring Greens are the 2 main games.
Spring Breeze.
Yep.
And they involve Kirby copying powers, and you have some other new abilities in this game, right? What are they?
Fighter. Rock. Rock's new.
Rock's new.
And I don't remember the other one.
Yeah, but then you also have, what's the other regular ability that you have?
The other regular ability?
You can have what?
Well, there's another super ability called Crash. It was in Kirby's Adventure and Kirby's Dream Land 2, but not in Kirby's Dream Land.
Yeah. Now you can also have helpers, right?
Yep.
So you can take a power and make an enemy out of it and have him follow you around.
Yep. And help you.
And he'll help you, and he has his own energy bar. And then
Well, it's
plus,
a frenemy.
Yeah, frenemy. Plus you can get your own power too, so you can be Sword Kirby, and you can have a Sword Fighter or somebody else following you around.
Or Sir Kebble.
Yeah, whoever you want.
Yep.
So it gives you double the advantage, and the helpers seem to be pretty smart too. They know how to avoid damage, and they know when to attack the enemies. So we're having some fun with that. And then the Great Cave Offensive is kind of almost like a adventure game, almost like Super Metroid style, where you have to wander this gigantic cave system, collecting as many treasures as you can, and beat the game, finding as close to the 60 treasures that are hidden around the cave, and they all have a dollar amount. And the greater your gold amount, the better the ending you get. And I think if you get a good enough amount of gold, then you unlock one of the hidden games in the game. So, really fun game, really good music. What'd you think about the graphics?
It's pretty smooth, but not as smooth as like Super Kirby Clash.
Oh, well, right, because that's a Switch game, so that's going to have smooth polygons. And this is going to be a little more pixelated because it's on the Super Nintendo, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
The more pixely it is, the more round you get.
The higher the resolution, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. So, would you want to play this game some more?
Really?
Yeah, okay. I do have the actual cartridge for this game, so we can play it on a real Super Nintendo. Amazing, right?
Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
That's what it's called.
Yep.
All right.
We have one over there.
Are you ready to play the next game and talk about the next song?
Yes.
Okay. What's coming up next?
Iceberg from Kirby's Dream Land 3 came out on the SNES on 1997.
Composed by, again, Mr. Jun Ishikawa. All right,
Yep.
let's take a listen.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. That was Iceberg from Kirby's Dream Land 3. Came out on the SNES at 1997.
Again, composed by Jun Ishikawa. Why'd you choose this track?
You chose it.
Why did I choose this track?
I don't know.
So that was a really groovy little tune. It plays on the map during the Iceberg levels. And I don't know, I just like the really funky bass line and the nice little horn stabs. Bump, 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 bump. What'd you think of it?
I just like it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not much like some of the other Kirby songs, so I felt like it would be cool.
Nope. It's literally cool.
No, because it's Iceberg.
Yep.
I get it. Nice one. So, you played this game a little. I don't think I've ever played this game before, so we both experienced it for the first time together. And what did you think?
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you should play it.
Now, what's a little bit different about this game? Like, how does it look?
It's more smooth than the other games that we played.
Yeah, the art style is a little bit like a kid's storybook or something, right? It's like watercolor artwork.
It's not watercolor.
No?
Doesn't look like it.
Like maybe like colored pencils?
No.
What does it look like to you?
It looks just like colored stamps.
Okay, like a stampy, but it looks like kind of like inky, right? It doesn't look like video game graphics.
No.
Yeah, it looks like something you might see in a book.
Yep.
And any new ways to play in this one?
There's more things to copy.
More powers you can get?
Yep.
And what about, who's that gooey guy? Gooby? What's his name?
It's Gooey.
Gooey? What does he do?
He doesn't suck, he licks. Like he sticks his tongue out and it's really far, so he can take in enemies, but he can't copy, so he has to spit them out.
I see.
But if he does swallow a copyable enemy, it just doesn't do anything. He's already a copyable enemy.
Gotcha. So, how did you know his name when he appeared? Is he in other games?
In Super Kirby Clash, it's Gooey in the sticker.
Oh, so you recognized him from the stickers you can earn in Super Kirby Clash.
Yep.
I see.
But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so I guess now you know where he came from.
Yep, I already knew where he came from.
Oh, pretty cool. So other than that, there's not too much...
He came from the land of goo.
He came from the land of goo. Interesting. So other than that, there's not too much that we noticed that was new in Kirby's Dream Land 3. It just felt like another episode in Kirby's Adventure series with some cool new artwork. You get some new friends, right? We were using Rick the hamster, but there are some other animals that you can befriend along the way.
Nago, the cat, he's twice the size of Kirby, and he can also roll up into a ball and roll him around.
Cool.
And Pitch, the bird, he's the smallest of Kirby's animal friends. He can do powerful attacks. When he has a copy ability, he can fly too, but he's not the strongest against winds. And Choo Choo, the octopus, he can cling to the ceiling, also weights Kirby down when he attempts to fly. So there's just 3 more.
Yeah, so you have Rick, Coo, and Kine from the original Kirby's Dream Land 2.
Yep.
And then you get 3 new, Nago, Pitch, and Choo Choo from Kirby's Dream Land 3. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
A whole bunch of different friends now, and then you have two different types of each. So if you want to do some flying, you can either choose Coo, who's
Or
really strong
Pitch.
against strong winds but can't do any copying, or you can choose Pitch, who can do copying and have attack abilities but isn't good against strong winds. So that's pretty neat.
Yep.
Okay, I think we're ready to move on to the next one.
Which is Neo Star from Kirby 64 on the Nintendo 64, which is obvious, it's 64. The Crystal Shards came out in 2000, composed by Jun Ishikawa, and
Hirokazu Ando.
let's get into it.
Let's go.
Welcome back. That was Neo Star from Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. It came out on the Nintendo 64 in 2000, composed by Jun Ishikawa and
Hirokazu Ando.
correct.
Correct. What'd you think of this song?
Best song ever.
Best song ever? It's a really good song, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really like the bass dun 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 dun, and it's got the little choruses over the top. It's very like energetic, but it doesn't feel so crazy and foreboding. It's like positive and energetic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you like in particular about it?
I just like the where it goes like that part.
The melody part?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really good. It feels like the melody is very kind of wistful and dreamy.
But the bass is going like
Yeah, it's going pretty intensive.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. This game is pretty neat. So what's different about this game from the other games you've played so far?
Well, Kirby's in 3D.
He's in 3D.
Finally.
He's an actual ball this time, not just a circle.
Yeah, and finally, now it's round. We're getting into the round games now.
No more pixely stuff?
Nope. Those pixely games are out of business.
Well, I don't know about that. We got some games on the DS coming up that are
Well,
2D.
but not pixelated.
Yeah, they're a little higher resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More pixels, which means more circular things.
Does blockier graphics mean that the games are bad?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think so?
Well, like the old games. Those are like 8-bit.
But what about the original Kirby's Dream Land game? Do you think that's bad just because it's on the Game Boy?
The smooth definition is not really that smooth.
Okay.
Not as smooth as today's technology.
Well, what I'm saying is, just because it's not smooth, does that make the game less fun? Or can it still be fun even though it's
It can
blocky?
still be fun, but it's a little less fun than more rounder games because then you can actually see what's in the background.
Okay.
And not just see pixely things.
So you like to have a pretty picture when you play games. That makes the game more fun for you.
Yep.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
And less distracting on how the pixels are, and I'm like, what is that in the back?
And meanwhile, you're getting beat up by enemies in the foreground.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I understand.
I'm getting beat up, dead. And then I was like, oh, guess I was paying attention too much to the background.
Yeah. So about
all the way to the beginning.
about the gameplay in Kirby 64, it's a little bit slower, isn't it?
Not really.
It feels like there's a little less going on. There's not as much platforming. There's a lot of like straight line walking.
You're not actually going straight. You're actually curving.
Well, that's true.
Around.
That's true. You're following winding paths, even though it's still like a 2D style gameplay in a 3D world.
Yeah.
Any neat abilities that you saw?
Well, for Cutter, it's actually pretty creepy. His face comes off and it spins around and then it comes back on.
He throws half of his own body away. It turns into a boomerang. It's really strange.
Yeah, and creepy.
How about the game's difficulty?
Pretty easy.
It is pretty easy.
Like all the other games that we're gonna play.
You were blowing through the levels without even getting hit, just using the spike ability.
And Flame.
And Flame too, yeah, and the bosses were going down pretty easy. So hey, we didn't play
With the spike, it's like boom, boom.
And you're done.
Yep.
But
sometimes it's like boom, 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 done.
Right. We didn't play very far,
2.
so maybe it gets a little more difficult as we go on.
Yeah, because we were only on level 1, stage 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's how far we got.
Yeah, but it was really like silly, crazy, easy. Like even easier than the easy levels on the other games.
Silly crazy?
Silly, crazy, easy. So, yeah, this was the only Kirby N64 game. And after that, it moved on to some handheld systems, and then the Wii U, and there's been a Kirby game on every single system Nintendo's ever released. I think everything except for the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
There's no Virtual Boy Kirby games. They probably would have planned one if the Virtual Boy had been more successful, but...
Yeah, and not only just red pixelated pictures moving around.
Kirby's got to be pink. He can't just be red, right?
Well, pink and red are kind of the same. It's just adding white to it.
True.
So I guess it could, but...
We could just pretend he was pink even though he was red if he was a Virtual Boy.
They should actually make a new Virtual Boy. Like a virtual reality boy.
They kind of did with the 3D goggles for the Switch that came with the Nintendo Labo.
It's not really a Virtual Boy because when you turn, it shows, but with the Virtual Boy, it's just like 2 pictures, and then that makes into 1 picture, and if you move around, it doesn't change.
Yeah, it's not motion sensing.
No.
Fair enough.
It's just like 2 pictures.
Well, what about the 3DS? That's kind of 2 pictures on one screen that turns it into a 3D picture.
Well...
So could you say the 3DS is a new Virtual Boy?
Not really.
No? Because it doesn't attach to your face?
No.
Okay. If I strapped a 3DS to my face, could I call it a Virtual Boy?
No, you would have to have special goggles for 3DS Virtual Boys.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, you hear that, Nintendo? Make a new Virtual Boy for one 8-year-old kid. That's probably the only one who wants one.
I just want to see what it looks like.
All right, let's move on to our next game. What have we got coming up?
Area 3, Cabbage Cabin from Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Came out on the Game Boy Advance in 2004. Composed by...
Let's see. New composers Atsuyoshi Ishimura and Hironobu Inagaki.
Welcome back. That was Area 3, Cabbage Cavern from Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Came out on the Game Boy Advanced in 2004. Composed by
Atsuyoshi Isemura and Hironobu Inagaki. Funky grooves in this one. This is a remix of the original NES Forest Area track, and I really like what they did with it. It's got a nice swing to it. What do you like about it?
I like that it goes like do 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 do.
Yeah, that's the swing I'm talking about. It sounds a little more funkified than the original.
It really does.
And it's on a Game Boy Advance, so normally the Game Boy Advance doesn't sound that good. It sounds really gritty, but on this it sounds really nice and clear and poppy.
Yeah, the one we have is a Game Boy Advanced SP.
Right.
So it sounds a little more clear and not gritty at all. It's still pretty quiet when you turn it up to the max.
Yeah.
But
that's just the way it is.
Yep.
You can put in headphones if you want.
Yeah.
Or you can just listen to the VG Embassy and we'll play the song there.
Yeah.
So, I did not play this game very much, and you did.
Yeah,
tell me a little bit.
I played it this morning, I think.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, first, it's like a story, and then when you go into one of the mirrors, it shows a little story of, like, normal Meta Knight trying to help the Amazing Mirror, but then Shadow Meta Knight comes in and drops him out, and then he shatters the Amazing Mirror, so that's just the beginning.
And what happens to Kirby when the Amazing Mirror shatters? Doesn't he get split into 4 different Kirbys?
Yeah, 4 different colored Kirbys. Red, yellow, and green.
And the regular pink, right?
Yep.
So how does that work? So when you're playing the game, how do you use the 4 different Kirbys?
If you want them to come back, use the R button.
So you can call them in to help?
Yep.
So you can give the different Kirbys different power-ups, right? So you could be like a fire Kirby, and then you can have one of your other colored Kirbys be like a sword Kirby, and if you need somebody with a sword, you can switch over or call him in and let him do his thing.
They all have to come in.
Okay.
So that would be amazingly helpful.
It sure would, with 4 Kirbys on the screen at once. That would be crazy.
Yep. If you needed a flame, sword, and Cupid, which is new.
Yeah.
It's not in the...
What's the Cupid power?
The Cupid power is like, you could, like, without, like, sucking in a bunch of air and floating, once you press the jump button up twice, they just float and you could float around.
Oh, so it's like Kirby with wings, basically.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Does he have, like, a bow and arrow to shoot guys with? Angel Kirby. And so the gameplay is not really linear. You don't just go from one stage to the next stage to the next stage, right? Almost kind of like a Metroidvania. You can wander from area to area. It feels almost kind of like The Messenger, like the second part of The Messenger, where the whole world kind of opens up and you can go around to different places and find the bosses and beat them instead of just having a boss at the end of each stage.
Yeah, I haven't played that.
Yeah. The first part starts off pretty linear, but then you'll notice that there are multiple doors you can go in some rooms, and they will take you to entirely different places.
Yep.
So what did you think about this game? Was it fun? Kirby controlled pretty well? Yeah, I think so too. This game looks really good, and it plays really good. I was really impressed.
And it even sounds really good.
And it sounds really good.
Not if you have a normal Game Boy Advance. It's very gritty.
Listening to it out of your stereo speakers when you're listening to a podcast probably sounds a little better than out of the Game Boy Advance speakers, right?
Yep.
You haven't used a Game Boy Advance too much, so I'm sure it's not as impressive as the Switch when you're carrying it around.
Of course not. Why would it be?
Of course. It's like 25 years older.
It didn't come out 25 years later.
About 20 years ago-ish.
Yeah.
So anyways, would you like to move on to our next song?
Yup. It's Mad Mechanism from Kirby Canvas Curse. Came out on the DS in 2005. Composed by Jun Ishikawa.
And Tadashi Ikegami.
Let's take a listen. That was Mad Mechanism from Kirby the Canvas Curse. Came out on the DS in 2005. Composed by Jun Ishikawa.
And Tadashi Ikegami. You at least know Jun Ishikawa's name, so that's good.
Yeah.
What'd you think about this song?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, this is a remix of the factory theme from Kirby 64. And Mad Mechanism definitely sounds like the song sounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got really crazy industrial percussion. What did you like about the song?
It doesn't really have a fast beat, but it sounds like it does because of the sound.
There's a lot of like backbeat to it,
Yeah.
right? The tempo's actually kind of slow, but
Yeah.
it's got a lot of really crazy stuff going on.
But the part that makes it sound like it's like a slow beat, but the doo-doo, 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 that kind of makes it sound like the beat is more fast.
Because the drums are going faster than the melody. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's actually a pretty slow beat.
Totally agree. And for a sequenced Nintendo DS track, it's really impressive because there's a lot of different sound effects and different effects on different notes and stuff. So this is a really cool soundtrack for a really different kind of game. So this one isn't just a normal Kirby game, right?
No.
So explain to me, in
It's
your
like-
way, how do you play this game?
Well, like, if you tap on him, he goes even faster, but when you tap an enemy, they stop, so when Kirby is slow, he can hit them, then they just die out.
Right, so let's back up a little bit. Kirby, does he walk back and forth?
He doesn't walk.
No, what does he
He
do?
rolls.
He rolls. Kirby is like a uncontrollable ball. I guess he's kind of controllable. So he starts rolling forward, and you can't make him stop.
No.
All you can do is use the stylus, and you can use the stylus to tap on enemies to stun them so that Kirby can roll over them. You can tap on Kirby so he can either roll forward really fast or use a copy ability power that he got from a stunned enemy. Or if you drag the stylus on the stage, then what happens?
It turns into the line, so if you want to make it jump, you draw it like from straight to up.
Right. So it draws a rainbow line on the screen, and then Kirby, as the ball, will ride on that line. But you can use the line in a whole bunch of different ways. You can use it as a bridge, you can use it as a jump, you can draw a line in front of cannons that are firing at Kirby to block the bullets.
Yep.
You can use it as a wall to turn him around so that he doesn't fall off a cliff or go into some spikes. So the whole object of the game is to guide Kirby through the stages using these rainbow lines and trying to get the copy abilities. And I think there's also...
And stunning.
And stunning the enemies, too. And I think there's a whole bunch of medals along each level, too, right, that you can get. And if you get all the medals, then you get a full completion for the course. So it's pretty challenging. Even the tutorial, you died a couple times during the tutorial just trying to figure out how to control everything.
The second one.
Yeah, it's a very unique game, and it's a lot of fun.
Really fun.
Really fun, yeah. I think you want to play more of this too, right?
Yeah.
You got really, really hooked on Kirby Superstar on the Super Nintendo. You were having a lot of fun with that one, right?
Yeah, because it has a lot of mini-games that I love.
Anything else you want to say about Kirby Canvas Curse before we move on to our next?
Not really. That's really all I got.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple game.
Yep.
And really good graphics, though, and the music is really good. And I think it's a game that will be a lot of challenge if you want to try to get through the end of it. So let's move on to our next game. This is another DS game, but this one's a little bit more of a traditional style game. What's coming up?
It's What Lies in Space from Kirby Squeak Squad. Came out on the DS in 2006. Composed by...
Let's see, a whole bunch of composers here. So Shogo Sakai, Jun Ishikawa, Tadashi Ikegami, and Hirokazu Ando.
That was What Lies in Space from Kirby Squeak Squad. Came out on the DS on 2006. Composed by
Shogo Sakai, Jun Ishikawa, Tadashi Ikegami, and Hirokazu Ando.
That's still a lot.
A lot of composers on this one.
Yeah, maybe they wanted to do different parts.
Yeah, there's a lot of music in this game.
Yeah.
And I love this song. I think this is my favorite in the show so far. I love that bass line. It's so cool. It sounds so good. There's a couple different parts in this song. That B section, the part where the song changes up a little bit, is my favorite part. What did you like about it?
The part where it goes doo 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 doo. That part.
Oh, the synths? Yeah, that's kind of part of the B section too. Really good tune.
There's also a C section.
Yes. Yeah, actually there's 3 parts to this song.
Yeah.
And then it loops. But this is a really good soundtrack. It's got a ton of all-star composers. I think this is the first Kirby game that Shogo Sakai worked on. He's one of my favorite composers, actually. He was in the last episode of My Favorite Composers, and I played a song from, I think, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. We've got another one of those tracks coming up later on in the show. And Jun Ishikawa wrote all of the original tunes for Kirby, and he's here doing some composing as well. And then Tadashi Ikegami came in a little later on, and Hirokazu Ando came in on the second game. So really all-star cast of Kirby composers, along with relative newcomer Shogo Sakai to round out the whole thing. And I think Shogo Sakai really excels in instrumentation choice, and I think he probably worked a lot in helping make these songs sound very rich and vibrant. So, what did you think about this game, sir?
It's really fun. Like, if you haven't already played this, there's another one called Here Come the Squeaks, and that's when you steal the big treasure chest and not just the red and gold one. There's a black one with gold and a red gem.
So you're trying to steal treasure chests in this game?
You get that one and then you fight one of the squeaks. But the real main part of the game is to try and get Kirby's cake back.
He goes on this whole adventure just to get a cake?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he really wanted it.
I guess it must be a really tasty cake.
Yeah.
So who...
So strawberry shortcake.
Well, obviously, then it's definitely worth getting back. Strawberry shortcakes are delicious.
Yeah.
So
especially for Kirby.
So who are the squeaks? I thought the squeaks were friendly guys.
Nope.
They're bad guys?
Yep.
So are they like the bosses in the game?
Well, yeah, but there's also King DDD.
I see. So are the squeaks working for King DDD?
No.
Oh.
They're both bad guys, but they don't work for each other.
Two different bad guy factions versus Kirby. Who's gonna win?
Kirby.
Psh, of course. Does Kirby ever lose?
No! I mean, he might run out of lives, but then you could press continue, and then you could keep on going.
Yeah. So any new things in this game, aside from the squeaks? Any new elements of gameplay?
Well, the chests.
Well, he's got treasure chests. I mean, there were treasure chests in Superstar.
You have to suck them up.
You suck up the chest, so
yeah,
that's new.
and then they go into your inventory.
Oh. Well, that's pretty new.
So when you finish the game, you get to open them up.
When you finish the level?
Mm-hmm.
I see. So that's cool. It uses the DS bottom screen as an inventory. So basically, like, so the bottom screen is Kirby's belly.
But there might be a bubble in there.
Well, then he's got gas.
No! It's the inventory. He sucks them up.
But where does it go? It goes in his belly, and then the bottom screen is the inventory screen, but it's also his belly screen.
No!
That's what it looks like to me, anyway.
It's not.
Okay.
There's blue and there's stars and everywhere.
Oh, so maybe Kirby sucks things into an alternate dimension.
No! Of course not!
So what is it?
He's already a defender of the Earth from a different dimension.
Fair enough. So I guess it just goes to a mystery spot.
Yes! That's what... I don't even know.
That's what you've been trying to say?
Yes. Let's go on to the next one.
Wait, hold on. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this inventory thing. So I saw some YouTube video of the game, and it looks like when Kirby sucks things up and goes into his inventory, that you can, like, use the stylus and, like, combine things, and...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty cool.
I just use my finger.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Finger, stylus, they both have the same thing to touch with.
Gotcha. So the new element of gameplay here is that you have kind of almost like a adventure game kind of inventory management.
Yep.
With items that you can use to get through the levels, I guess.
Yep.
Make you more powerful.
Yep.
To unblock things and stuff.
Yep.
Very cool. This game looks really good.
And you could also, like, if you have, like, a chicken in a bubble and a cherry in a bubble, you could fuse them together to make a Metamato. And then you might have a bubble Metamato and another bubble Metamato that you fused. I don't know what that makes.
Wow, cool.
Might make a completely different double Metamato.
So it's like Kirby crafting.
Yep.
That's very
In
neat.
the bottom.
I did not know that you could make a Metamato with a chicken and a cherry.
If you fuse any to foods that are like health, you can make anything. You can always make Metamatoes.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you're basically just taking two power-ups and making a better power-up.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable. All right, well, Kirby's Squeak Squad looks really good. It animates really well. There's lots of vibrant color. This is a really quality-made game, and I didn't hear much about it when it came out. And I think a lot of people passed it by, but it's definitely worth a play.
Yeah, but it's still a little pixie.
People like pixels sometimes. Old folks like me that grew up with pixels, we don't mind the pixels so much. We kind of like the pixels. I know, you like high-resolution stuff.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Really?
But you like chiptune music.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like old music and new graphics.
Yep.
That works.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to our next one. What do we got coming up, dude?
Dusk Dunes Frigid Forge Off-Roader from Kirby's Epic Yarn came out on the Wii and the 3DS on 2010, composed by
Tomoya Tomita. And I think, yeah, it's Dusk Dunes, Frigid Fjords, and Off-Roader. This is the three areas that this song plays.
Yep.
All right, let's take a listen.
We'll be right back. That was Dusk Dunes, Frigid Fjords, and Off-Roader from Kirby's Epic Yarn. Came out on the Wii and 3DS. And on a 3DS, it's Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. Came out in 2010, composed by
Tomoya Tomita, lead composer of the company Good Feel, which also made Yoshi's Woolly World one of your other favorite games.
Yep. We already did that one. Make sure you listen to it.
We did that one?
Yeah, when we were on vacation.
Oh yeah, you played a couple of songs from that when we did the Washington, D.C. trip.
Yeah.
I remember that now. I think that was on Pixelated Audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go down to Pixelated Audio and don't forget to listen to that one.
Exactly.
It's pretty fun. I'm also on it.
You are.
Yeah. Because it's Yoshi. Who doesn't like Yoshi? I mean, a lot of people.
Weirdos don't like Yoshi. Everybody
Yeah.
likes Yoshi. So what did you think of this song?
Pretty good. I chose it.
Yeah, this is the song that plays when you are in the vehicle, like you're in the off-roader, when you're doing some of the faster-paced stuff in this game, because this game's a pretty slow pace.
Yep.
And the song is just drums and piano, so it's pretty rich sound for just having two instruments in it. I like that it has a lot of get up and go, and I like that the beat is nice and fast. This whole soundtrack is very acoustic, so usually Kirby games have lots of synthesizers and like bubbly happy sounds. This entire soundtrack is orchestral and just like piano and drums, maybe some acoustic guitar. It's very light and fluffy feeling, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, here's a game. Describe this game in 3 words for me.
Fun yarn Kirby.
Fun yarn Kirby. Okay, that works for me.
Fun Kirby yarn.
A fun Kirby yarn. So describe this game a little bit. How is it different from the normal Kirby games?
Well, he's yarn.
He's made of yarn.
Yeah.
What else?
He doesn't have the sucking ability.
Right.
Because if he does, the air will go right through him.
It shows that right in
Because
the
it's
intro.
just a circle.
Yep, it's just a hollow circle made of yarn.
Yep.
And the whole world is made of yarn and arts and crafts and stuff.
Yeah.
And because he's hollow, when he tries to suck enemies in, the air just goes right through his body.
Yep.
So what does he have to do instead?
He has a special star whip.
Made of yarn.
Yes.
Yes. And what does it do to the enemies?
It squeezes them and rips them to shreds.
Yeah, it kind of unravels them, right?
Yep.
And then what else? Instead of his copy ability, what does he have in this game?
Just a whip. And also the car and the pound.
The car and the pound, and
The
then
car is the dash and the pound is like when you're in the air, push down, and he will pound like meow.
yeah, it's his slam attack.
Yeah.
Like when you have the rock ability on the regular Kirby games.
Yep.
And he can also turn into a submarine, and he can turn into a tank, and there's a whole bunch of different stuff that he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the tank is really violent to Wispy Woods.
Yeah, the tank shoots like yarn missiles, that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like. And the ground, Kirby thought in his mind, he said, "This grass, it feels like pants."
That's right, because the grass was made of fabric.
Yeah.
He's like, this grass feels like pants. But in the British version, what does it say?
It feels like trousers. Feels like trousers.
Trouser grass.
Trouser grass.
So, this game has a 2-player mode too,
Yeah.
where one player can play as Kirby, and who's the second player?
Prince Fluff.
Yeah, so Masahiro Sakurai also developed this game, the same guy who created Kirby, and he was originally just going to make a Prince Fluff game, and
Until Nintendo joined in and put Kirby in it.
yep, they said, why don't we stick Kirby in this? This seems like a Kirby kind of game, and they were like, yeah, sure, we'll call it Kirby's Epic Yarn, and there it was.
Well, they probably didn't say that at the beginning. They probably thought of the name, like Kirby's Yarn World, and that didn't sound that great.
Yeah, they probably had
So-
some generic stuff that didn't sound
Yeah.
as good.
Like Kirby's Yarn Adventure. Yeah, I mean, that could be a game, but it probably won't be as fun. So they tried harder and harder and finally came up with Kirby's Epic Yarn and Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn.
Yeah, do you know what an Epic Yarn is?
No.
An epic yarn is another way of saying really incredible story. Like when somebody spins a yarn, that's a way of saying it's figurative language. It means that you're telling a story. I'm going to spin you a yarn. I'm going to tell a story to you. So when it's an epic yarn, they're telling you an epic story. So it makes sense, right? Because the game is made of yarn, and it's also a story starring Kirby. Clever, right?
What about the extra epic?
Well, then it's even better.
Extra epic story.
On the 3DS, it's mostly the same game, but it's obviously in 3D, and it's got, I think, some extra features.
The 3D thing doesn't work.
Oh, there's no 3D in it? That's right, they made a couple games towards the end of the 3DS's life that didn't use the 3D feature because they used it for extra power to make better games out of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a very fun game.
Yep.
Definitely a different type of Kirby experience, and definitely worth playing.
Yep.
Right? Alright, so we were talking about generic names before. Speaking of which, what's our next game?
Well, the music is Cave Area from Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Came out on the Wii U in 2011.
This one's composed by Hirokazu Ando and
Jun Ishikawa.
There we go. Alright, we'll be right back.
That was Cave Area from Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Came out on the Wii in 2011. Composed by Hirokazu Ando and Jun Ishikawa.
Nice job. First try. What'd you think of this track?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And this was your pick.
Yep, super energetic, very rich synths, a nice, steady beat. I was looking at some YouTube comments underneath a video of this song, and a whole bunch of people were saying, oh wait, this reminds me of Sonic 2. Oh wait, no, this reminds me of Bonk. No, this reminds me of Mega Man Network Transmission. I think it's got that kind of quality to it where it just sounds like a lot of different modern video game music. Kind of a, I'm not going to say generic, but just a very traditional style video game track. And it's fun. It's got a nice little build up, and then it gets a little bit sweeter towards the middle, right before the loop.
Yep.
I enjoy it a lot, and very nice groove. This whole soundtrack is very good. Of course, Jun Ishikawa and Hirokazu Ando have worked on most of the Kirby games, and they are veterans of the series at this point. They've been working on Kirby for over a decade, so this was a fun Wii game. I think this was the first real widescreen, quote-unquote modern-style Kirby game. You were playing this a bunch last night. What did you think of it?
It was really good. Well, when you guys were saying to turn it off, I was playing a game called Scope Shot.
And that's in the Kirby's game?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's like a mini game when you go into Malagar's ship and you go down the ladder. It brings you to a thing where you can play 3 different games, but you have to unlock the 3rd one. But the ones that are already open are Scope Shot and Ninja Dojo.
Oh, so Ninja Dojo, is that similar to the one that's on Kirby Superstar?
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Okay, but what's Scope Shot like?
It's like you're using a rocket launcher. And on the third one, it's really hard. And if you're a really good aimer with the Wii remote, you have to like point to where you want to shoot.
Okay. Is it one of those games where like something's in the distance and you have to time it so that it hits at the right point while they're moving across the screen?
Well, it's kind of like a robot, and you have a time limit, so you have to destroy them before the time is out.
I see.
And the third one, it only gives you like 60 seconds.
Whoa.
And it's a really hard one.
Yeah, that must be rough.
So if you're a master at it, tell us.
You can probably...
Tell us the secrets.
I wonder if you can unlock the third game by beating the first two, or if you have to do something in the real game.
You have to complete the real game.
You have to complete the real game?
Yeah.
So speaking of the real game, what is the deal with the real game? Is it just a straight up regular Kirby game? Is there anything new? Any new features they added to the Kirby game?
Definitely a lot.
Like what?
There's finally Leaf and Needle. Well, there was Needle, but now he has a cap. And when you shake the Wii remote when it's sideways, it shoots the needles out.
Very cool. Oh, that's funny because, yeah, you started on the real late Kirby game, so you are familiar with all of his powers. So as you've been going through all of these old Kirby games, you've kind of been seeing all of them as they've been added and kind of building up towards the total number that you're used to. That's funny.
You could also choose what you want to be when you unlock the doors that go up.
Yeah, so once you get far enough in the game, you can unlock some areas that have all the power-ups in them, and you can choose which one you want to pick and then be on your way.
Yeah.
Makes it a little easier and a little more
fun. But when you collect 80 stars, you could get the overpowered ones.
Wow.
And they have unlimited uses.
You've been playing this game for a while, huh?
Yeah, but I haven't got 80 stars yet.
Oh, okay.
I've only got like 60.
60-something?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll get 80 eventually and you'll beat the game. Are there any friends? Are Rick and all of your other animal friends in this one? Nope.
They only show the stones of them.
Do you get helper friends like in Kirby Superstar?
No.
Nope, so it's pretty much just a solo Kirby traditional style adventure.
Unless you want to play 2, 3, or 4 player.
Oh, there's a 4-player mode.
Yeah, I think.
That's neat. I wonder if you can do that in the minigames too.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be fun then. We'll have to play. We'll have to get Mom, and you and me and Mom can sit on the couch and we'll all play 3-player Kirby's Return to Dreamland. You know what they say, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yep.
Teamland work makes the dreamland work.
Teamland?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Kirby's Return to Dreamland, so I figured I'd try to make a bad dad joke. Sorry. I'll never do it again, I promise.
You could do that, just not that bad.
Fair enough. All right, do you want to move on to the next game?
Yeah. Next up is Mountains in an Angry Sky from Kirby's Triple Deluxe. Came out on the 3DS in 2014. Composed by Hirokazu Ando and Jun Ishikawa. We'll be right back. Welcome back. That was Mountains in an Angry Sky from Kirby's Triple Deluxe. Came out on the 3DS in 2014, composed by Hirokazu Ando and Jun Ishikawa.
Dubstep in a Kirby game. Can you believe it?
Curb step.
Curb step. That was a comment on the YouTube
Yeah. From
video of this song.
From Starberry.
Yeah.
Sparkler.
He's a clever dude. That Starberry Sparkler, or clever woman, whoever he or she is. I like this song a lot because it's very different from what you'd normally hear in a Kirby song. And it's a little bit different from a normal dubstep song too, because you've got those dubstep-y bass grooves in the background, but you've also got some very kind of cinematic and scary like violin sounds over the top.
Yeah.
So good combination of
But the
instruments.
beginning is really good.
Yeah, it's very unexpected.
Yeah.
And when you start this level, you're like, whoa, what am I listening to? This doesn't sound like a Kirby soundtrack at all.
Yeah, it's like, what am I playing? This isn't a Kirby
This isn't a Kirby game.
track. I don't even know what this is.
That just goes to show you that I think these guys like to experiment when they're making Kirby music.
Yep.
And they do it to great effect. A lot of their experiments do sound really, really good.
That's true.
Yeah, so let's talk about Kirby Triple Deluxe a little bit. What do you think of this game?
It is very fun. I've been playing it for like, how much? An hour?
Practically. I couldn't drag you away from it to continue the podcast. So what's so fun about it? What makes it a great game?
It's just very fun. I don't really know why I was playing it for so long. It's just a fun game. I really like it. And also, there's new one, the Archer and Beetle.
Yep, Archer, Beetle, and there's Bell as well.
Yeah, which isn't that powerful.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Some of them
kind of
have-
like a common charge up. When you charge it up, he goes like...
Cool. I think, yeah, Bell can stun enemies instead of actually defeating them. So
like stun. When he stuns them, they kind of lose health, and then like it slowly loses health, and then they die.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a stunning death.
That's kind of neat.
Stunning death.
Stunning death.
Get it?
That sounds dangerous. But now Kirby can also go into the background and into the foreground, so it uses the 3D capabilities of the 3DS to make it look like it's really far in the background. And then the bosses also use that sense of depth, so they'll, like the impudent tree will be way in the background shooting nuts and seeds at you, and then it'll jump into the foreground and attack you like it normally would in the other games. So
Yeah.
they do a lot of really cool stuff like that.
But Hypernova could just suck that tree up, and you could just be like... and then you would get the tree effect.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there is a tree effect.
So you mentioned Hypernova, and that's now a big part of this game and some of the other
Yeah.
games going forward. What's Hypernova?
Hypernova is Kirby, but he turns rainbow, and he can suck up giant things.
Yeah, it
Like,
gives
he could
his-
suck up a whole tree.
It gives his sucking power like 10 times the amount of normal sucking power.
Like 100.
Yeah.
Like, usually his sucking power is like... and the big one is like...
Yeah, it takes up almost the whole screen. So it really
Yeah.
kind of changes the way you play the game sometimes, because you can change the whole geography of levels sometimes by moving huge blocks around or removing gigantic obstacles or enemies and stuff. So it's really cool and it's really fun to play that way. And normally you have the power for quite a long time, usually until you move into the next area of the stage, like go through a door or something, and then you'll come out the other side with your normal powers again. But I like it a lot, and I think it's a lot of fun.
No, with the Hypernova, you go through a door, and then you keep the Hypernova.
Oh, sometimes you keep it? Okay, I think the game just decides when it takes it away.
Yeah. So it's like unlimited until you get to the goal.
Yeah.
Then you have to get that thing again. You start where that plant grows to get the Hypernova, and then once you collect it, you turn into the Hypernova.
Exactly.
But in the first level, it shows you what the Hypernova can do.
Yeah, it gives you a little demonstration.
Yep.
And it's pretty impressive.
If it was actually unlimited and it didn't die out when you finished a level, then that game would be way too easy and boring.
You just suck up everything, and you
Yeah,
wouldn't have to worry
you could
about
just
anything.
suck up the bosses.
Yep, exactly.
You could suck up Mr. Frosty.
Delicious, like a snow cone. So why is this game called Triple Deluxe?
because there's 3 modes.
What are the other 2 modes?
There's Kirby Fight and King DDD's Drum Dash.
Yeah. And Kirby Fighters is pretty cool. It's kind of like
Yeah, it's exactly what it says.
Yeah, it's up to 4 players. It's almost like a miniaturized version of Smash Brothers Melee with only Kirby characters, but you can choose which power they have permanently.
I would choose the Hypernova.
Well, I don't know if that's an actual power you can pick for Kirby Fighters, but...
But if there was, I would just suck up all of you and...
I mean, that would be cheating. You would just win every single time. You just start the game, suck everybody up, and you're done. Womp womp.
But imagine if there was like a supernova thing that dropped down and you could only suck up 1 to be eliminated from the game.
Well, that would be pretty cool if it was a power-up that dropped after a certain amount of time and then everybody had to rush towards it.
I think there is.
Yeah, I haven't played the mode, but that would be a neat way to play it, and you can turn that feature on or off.
There might be.
Yeah, and then DDD's Drum Dash is a rhythm game where King DDD has to jump on drums and collect items to the beat and jump and clap and then jump again, jump over enemies and around enemies. It seems pretty cool, but people were saying that it was kind of lackluster. There wasn't too much to do. Once you play through the 4 songs, there's not too much replayability unless you're really trying to get perfect 100% on everything.
Then you could unlock something.
Yeah, there's a couple of other modes you can unlock too, but I haven't seen anybody that really went into detail about what they were, so I guess there's 5 modes in Triple Deluxe.
So maybe it should be Quintuple Deluxe.
Yeah. Kirby's Quintuple Deluxe doesn't sound as good as Triple Deluxe, though.
Quadruple Deluxe.
Quad Deluxe.
Quad Lux.
Quad Deluxe.
Quad Lux.
Quad Deluxe.
That sounds cool.
I would buy a game called Kirby's Quad Deluxe.
Where there could be 4 Kirbys.
4 Kirbs.
Forbes.
Forbies.
Forbies.
All right,
Perfect.
let's move on to our next game. This one's on the Wii U. What's it called, sir?
It's the Impudent Tree from Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Came out on the Wii U in 2015, composed by...
Spell it out, see if you can pronounce it.
Shogo Saki.
Sakai. Shogo Sakai. All right.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. That was The Impudent Tree from Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Came out on the Wii U in 2015. Composed by...
Shogo Sakai. One of my favorite composers of all time. Just played a song from him last episode, from this game, actually. And I love this soundtrack. This is another great example of...
Did you use this soundtrack?
I did. I played Up the Big Old Tree from this soundtrack last episode.
Up the Big Old Tree?
Yep. And this one's the
Not the...
Impudent Big Tree.
Yeah. We forgot to put big, but...
Yeah, it's the Impudent Big Tree.
It's the same thing.
And I talked about how much the track I played reminded me of the Mother 3 soundtrack, and this one does as well. It's basically the Kirby's Boss theme, but done in the style of the Mother 3 battle themes. So it's really, really cool. Great kind of guitar chugginess going on with some excellent, very modified synths, kind of remixed from the original boss theme from Kirby's Dream Land, and then this great breakdown with this fantastic solo in the B section right before it loops again. What did you think of this song, Logie?
It's really good, and it was your choice because it was number 13, and I really think it's the best.
The best song on the show? Or just the best?
One of the best.
One of the best. We'll at the end, we'll talk about what our favorite games were and what our favorite tracks were, so stay tuned for that.
Yep.
So Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, if you are a European listener, you might recognize the game as Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush. I don't know why they changed the name for the US, or why they changed the name for Europe. I think because curse in Europe is more associated with swearing, maybe? I'm not sure.
Cuss.
Rainbow Cuss?
No, it's...
Kirby and the Rainbow Cuss.
In Europe, they use cuss.
They do use the word cuss in Europe, you're right.
Yeah, not curse.
Yeah, true. So anyways, this plays a lot like Kirby and the Canvas Curse on the DS. It's just kind of transported onto the Wii U, right? Mm-hmm. Did you remember any differences? I mean, you played this for a little while, but not too much.
Yeah, I don't really notice any differences.
They're
kind of the same.
Almost identical games. This one's just obviously in HD because it's on the Wii U.
And everything is made of clay.
Everything is made of clay. Yes, the art style is very kind of claymation in this, and it's very cute and it's very well done.
Yeah.
Really colorful graphics. But that's about it. I mean, you do the same thing. You tap on Kirby to get him to move faster. He picks up enemies. You can stun enemies that are copyable, and then when Kirby runs into them, he'll grab their powers. Same as the DS version. And then you move on using those powers through the level. You can draw to make blocks or jumps or bridges or whatever, and that's pretty much it. The levels get harder and more complex as you go. Fantastic soundtrack to listen to while you're playing it. It's kind of a overlooked game on the Wii U, but it is a lot of fun if you're not a handheld guy and you have a Wii U and not a DS. You can always check this game out instead of Kirby and the Canvas Curse, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. As I've said time and time again, the soundtrack to this game is completely incredible. It really did not get the recognition it deserves, in my opinion, and it's worth listening to. So I'll be sharing music from this game as often as I can whenever it's appropriate on the VG Embassy going forward. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So that was a quick little segment because we didn't have too much to talk about as far as the game goes. What do we got coming up next, Dabrowski?
We got Green Gears from Kirby Planet Robobot. Came out on the 3DS in 2016, composed by Jun Ishikawa. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, Robobot's a fun one. We'll be right back.
Yep, everyone knows that. That was Green Gears from Kirby Planet Robobot. Came out on the 3DS in 2016. composed by Jun Ishikawa.
Yeah.
This is a really fun game.
It is a really fun
I highly
game.
recommend you could play it.
Yeah, we both really enjoy this one.
Yeah.
But I really like this track. We haven't played any songs based on Green Greens, which is like the first level original
is
Kirby theme.
Green Gear.
Right, and I really like that they call it Green Gears because it's Green Greens, but it's a remix to be more mechanical.
It's like a techno green.
Yeah, it's a
greens.
remix of Green
Yeah.
Greens called Green Gears.
Green Gears.
Yeah, and I like it's got a really nice breakbeat, really happy sounding synths, and they use kind of phrases from Green Greens as kind of like a techno effect. I think Jun Ishikawa did a really good job with this remix, and he remixed his own song, which he wrote like 15 years ago, considering what year this came out. So it's really cool. It's really nice to see him continually revisit his old music and reinvent it in new ways. Planet Robobot is just how it sounds. It's a very futuristic, very mechanical themed game, and so a lot of the music in it is very mechanical, very techno, very industrial sounding for the more evil areas, and I think he did a really good job updating all of the original music from the original Kirby games to kind of meet the theme of this game. So tell me a little bit about Planet Robobot.
Brobobot.
Brobobot.
Roborot.
Roborot. It sounds like a robot that's been left out in the rain too long.
And it got rusty.
All right, anyway, tell me about the game.
Well, it's a really fun game, and first levels are always easy, but when you get into the robot, which is why it's called Robobot, when you get into the robot and you use the attack to scan the copy things.
The copy stars?
Yeah. The cutter one is really cool. His hands go in and then saws come out. And then with the attack button, you when you shoot, the saws go forward and then they come back. But with the charge, they just go down and keep on going.
Yes.
To clear your path.
Yes. So basically in Planet Robobot, Kirby controls like normal. It's not like Canvas Curse or anything where he's rolling around on a ball or anything like that. They keep the same foreground and background concept that Triple Deluxe did, so you can go back and forth. Some enemies have like these robots that they walk around. They're like standing mechs where they like sit in a seat where the head would be, and they have giant arms and legs. And if you beat the enemies that are standing in those mechs, Kirby can leap in, and then he can walk around, and he's got giant punching arms, and he can do a hover jump, and it's kind of like walking around in a real mech. And the cool thing is when Kirby gets in these mechs, he can copy powers from other enemies, so he can become a cutter bot or a flame bot, some other stuff. What does he do when he like hops onto the stars? It's pretty funny.
First of all, when the Waddle Dees are in the mechs, they defeat the Waddle Dee and the mech.
Yeah, the Waddle Dees have these little tiny mechs.
Only in the boss you can get in.
Yep.
And then it turns pink, and where the stars are on his arms are where you can put stickers.
That's right. I forgot you can
We'll
collect
talk
stickers.
about those later.
Okay.
But when he gets on the star, it's really funny. He like cramps up, and he goes like whee.
He rides on the star like it's a little tiny tricycle.
Yeah.
kind of
A
thing.
mech on a tri-star.
Yeah, he holds on for dear life, and then he will shoot into the background or into the foreground, depending on where he is.
Yeah,
And,
on the warp star.
Yeah, and it's really fun because when you're in the mechs, the game plays very differently. It plays more like a beat 'em up than an action platformer kind of game. And then you can get out of the mech. There are these little areas where you can get out of the mech, and then so you can get into smaller areas that Kirby can fit
Yeah.
into, and you can flip a switch so that a door opens, and you get back in the mech, and then you can go through the door to get further through the level. So it's really fun. It kind of reminds me of Blaster Master, where Jason gets in and out of Sophia, the car, and it kind of allows the car to get further. They kind of use that same kind of play mechanic with the mech in Planet Robobot. Very unique, very fun. I didn't think that changing up the Kirby formula that much would make for that much of a fun game, but they did it really, really well. The music is fantastic. The graphics are really cool. There's moving parts all over the place, and because it's in 3D, they're like gears and and pistons and stuff going in and out of the screen. It looks really, really neat. And then the enemies are using different mechanical things too. Like they've got like large like laser poles that they're like running back and forth that you've got to jump over and stuff. They did a really good job with this one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
You were going to tell me about the stickers.
Yep. The stickers you can collect in the levels. You could also get the rare Star Rod Kirby, which is only in a boss level when you defeat the boss in a mech. So when you defeat the boss, a rainbow sticker flies up and then it twirls down to the ground, and so you can grab it. And then once you put it on the arm, it doesn't do anything special. It's just like a decal on a car.
Cool. You can kind of customize your mech a little bit, which is kind of a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that laser pole Kirby is cool because he runs in the foreground, but he's holding this giant, almost like a pole vaulter's pole, but it's like in his arms and it's extending into the background. And as he runs, you can move the pole up and down to destroy enemies that are hanging out in the background.
And destroy everything. You could be like...
Yep, you can shake it up and down, and it goes all over the place.
Destroy everything.
All right, so if you haven't played Robobot, if you have a 3DS, definitely go check it out. It's quite a fun game.
3DS, 2DS, or just a DS. They're all on.
Not DS, just
not
2DS,
DS.
3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we've got 2 more games left to go before we're all caught up with Kirby's Adventures. What's our next one? Ooh, this is one of your favorites.
Yep. It's All of Those Star Allies Are With Me from Kirby Star Allies. Came out on the Nintendo Switch in 2018. Composed by Jun Ishikawa and a new composer.
Yuta Ogasawara.
See ya in a bit. That was All of Those Star Allies Are With Me from Kirby Star Allies. Came out on the Switch in 2018. Composed by Jun Ishikawa and
Yuta Ogasawara.
That's hard to say.
Yeah, it is. So why'd you pick this track?
This is your pick.
Why'd I pick this track?
I don't know.
Oh, I should have probably tell you then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. This track is just fun. It's got a nice little organ feel to it. It's very disco-y, I guess, a little bit. I don't know, it just made me want to dance. It's very upbeat. I like the title of it, too. All of These Star Allies Are With Me. I just feel like Kirby just is at a restaurant somewhere, and he goes to the front desk, and he's like, "I'd like a table, please." And the waitress is like, "Oh, a table for one, Mr. Kirby?" And all of the star allies pile in the restaurant, and he's like, "No, all of these star allies are with me. I need a table for 300." And the waitress faints.
And he's like,
Just turns into paper and floats down to the ground.
yeah, he's like,
So, you need to tell me all about Star Allies because you've played this game. You've beaten this game all the way through, like, I don't know how many times. So many times, right?
Ivan beat the Star Slam Heroes.
Which is...
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
I got the Town Crisis, the City Crisis, and the World Crisis down.
What's Star Slam Heroes?
It's like a mini game.
Oh.
Same with the other ones.
I see.
Shop Champs. There's 4, like, option things. I haven't gotten the 4th one because I'm only in 96%.
Oh, so you need 100% to unlock the 4th?
Like 98 or 97.
Some percentage higher than what you are, but there's only 4% left, so it's one of those percents will unlock the 4th one, I guess.
Yeah.
Tell me all about Kirby Star Allies.
You've played it with me.
I played a little bit, but it's been a long time, and I know you've played it pretty recently, so you probably have a better memory.
Like a few days ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Star Allies, there's way so much to talk about. Like,
So tell me about the Star Allies part. Why do they call it Star Allies?
because he can friend things. Because when you press the Y button, a heart forms, and then he can throw it at enemies to be friends with them.
That is
and then
adorable.
they will help.
That's
and you could
awesome.
get up to 4 because there's 4 players.
So, what you're saying is kind of like the friend aspect of Kirby Superstar on the Super Nintendo. They kind of brought back that concept so that you can have not only one enemy follow you around as a friend, but now you can get up to 4 of them.
Yep.
And that other people
Well,
with other controllers can
get
take
up to
control of those
3
friends.
of them.
Well, yeah, 4 players total, but 3, you and 3 other allies.
Yeah.
And so any enemy in the game can become a friend and be controllable?
Not the super special ones.
Okay.
Like Clash, Mike, and Paint. Oh yeah, you can friend the Paint, but when you become the Paint and you charge up and you draw something, then you're out completely.
Oh, that must be a super special move to...
Yeah, it defeats
Sacrifice
enemies in 1.
I see. So it's like almost like Crash, basically.
Yes.
I see. Interesting. And then, so what happens then? So then you drop out of the game and then you have to wait until Kirby makes a new friend so you can control that friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you and Mom are playing and Mom dies, then she has to wait until you make a new friend before she can...
If that friend dies, she can just return in to be one of my other 2 friends.
Okay.
So
I see.
she...
What if they all
has-
die?
Then she would have to wait until I make a new friend.
That's what I mean. So it's drop in, drop out gameplay, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, drop in, drop out after 3 lives.
Sure. Or if you don't have 4 friends and you only have 2 friends. We're getting way too hung up on this.
Yes. I know. I'm a crazy person.
Any other new things in this game? Any new powers? New enemies? New ways
The
to play?
paintbrush, definitely.
Yeah? What's the paintbrush? I mean, well, you told me a little bit, but what does the
The
paintbrush
painter.
do? What's the normal moves?
The normal move is like paint slash and paint twirl and also still life. Still life is like the fridge and it gives you food. It's free.
Oh, that's cool.
Free health. But
Yeah.
you need to wait a little for it to fill. With the joystick you press up. Then Kirby's hand will go up. And if you have a flame, then anything that can be mashed like yo-yo, cutter, and everything else that has like something that you could like hold.
Any weapon?
Yeah, any weapon except for flame, ice, and paintbrush. And the other ones.
So you can combine them, is what you're saying?
And water. Yeah, you can combine them.
So you can get like, so if you have sword and flame, you can combine them to be flame sword.
Sizzle sword.
Sizzle sword.
And with the water, it's splash sword. And with
I see.
electric, with spark and beam, there's zap sword.
That's really cool. I like that concept. It gives you a whole bunch of new different types of, and I think depending on what enemies you're facing, your powers will be more effective or less effective. So if you have a flame sword or a sizzle sword, you'll be able to inflict more damage on frosty enemies.
Yeah, and also the bombs that you can cut, and then once it drops down and rolls, then it explodes.
Cool. Yeah, this is a really fun game. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah.
Just know that the end boss sequence in this game is really epic, and it's really worth playing.
Yeah, and we're not talking any more about that.
Yeah, the ending is really cool.
But now, there's also an ally planet, which you can choose to be anything you want to be. Any ally. Like, you could even choose to be paint.
Cool. And that was a free update for the game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that planet ally was in, like, the 4th one. In the 5th one, that's the final boss.
I see.
So the 4th one, allies in space. I don't know if it's actually called that, but you can get the ally planet. So we're not gonna spoil too much, so let's move on.
All right, yes. Kirby Star Allies is an amazing game, definitely worth playing. If you have a Switch, pick it up. If you have young kids, they will have a blast because, like I said, as long as you are Kirby, if they die, then all they have to do is wait until you make a new friend and they can jump back in again. They don't have to worry about losing all their lives or anything. So, makes it a lot of fun.
So, next up is Galactonite from Super Kirby Clash. Came out on the Switch in 2019, just a few days ago. Composed by...
let's see, Kiyoshi Hashimoto, Jun Ishikawa, and Hirokazu Ando again.
We'll be right back. That was Galactonite 2 from Super Kirby Clash. Came out on the Switch in 2019, just a couple days ago. Composed by Jun Ishikawa, Hirokazu Ando, and
Kiyoshi Hashimoto. Why'd you pick this one?
It just sounds really, really bassy, and it's really rocky, so not like rocky like Pebbles and Rocks.
No, it's got some really like hardcore metal at the beginning there.
Yeah.
It just gets super, super fast, very foreboding. I think Galactonite 2 is one of the final hardest guys that you fight in this game.
Yeah.
So it needs some really, really intense music with some really like fast violins, really fast drum beats. Ooh, this song gives me goosebumps because it's just so epic and scary sounding. Tell me a little about Super Kirby Clash.
It's a really fun game, and we're not going to talk about all of it.
Why not?
Well, because we would spoil the whole thing for them.
Well, just talk about the concept of the game. Like, what do you do in the game?
You try to defeat bosses
That's it?
and get different weapons. Well, the weapons aren't really a spoiler. There's only 4 things to choose from. There's Hammer, Dr. Healmore, which is a flask. There's Hammer, Flask, the sword, and the witch thing.
Yeah, so it's basically like 4 different classes.
Yep.
And you can take any combination of 4 that you want. And you fight increasingly more difficult boss battles
And you
as
start,
you go.
And you start off with 1, and as you level up, you get more. And the max you could get is 3 helpers, but you could only get 2 by leveling up. But when you get the other mode, story mode, and there's also co-op mode where you could do 2 players or more.
Yeah. It almost follows a mobile game style method of gameplay where you have to earn money from fights and then use that money to level yourself up, and you have a certain amount of like they call it vigor, it's energy that you can only fight so many times before it recharges. But at least Nintendo's doing it so that there's no microtransactions and they don't like try to force you to buy extra stuff as you go through the game. At least not that I'm aware of yet. I haven't seen any options to buy stuff for the game.
You could buy gem apples.
You can buy them with real money, or do you use in-game coins?
The in-game coins are gem apples and like fragments, light fragment, water fragment, super extra rare fragment, and fire fragment.
So when you say you can buy them for real money?
You could only buy gem apples for real money.
I see. Okay, so I guess Nintendo is doing some microtransactions with this one, but you don't need to, right? You can just keep playing and get through the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll just help you
Buying
get through
gem
a little
apples
faster.
is just like a faster way of getting more stuff.
I gotcha.
But we're never gonna buy anything
No, we're not going to do that.
on Nintendo Switch.
Because you're having fun playing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, and if you don't have fun anymore, you can just play something else instead.
Yeah.
So, but the game is really cool. You and up to 3 other friends can take on these ever-increasing bosses. You can kind of configure what
ever
kind of...
increasing until it's not.
Yeah, there is an end game to this, but even after you finish the game, there are still more enemies that you can fight and stuff. Did you play this with Mom at all?
Didn't I play with you?
Oh yeah, you played it a little bit with me. And we had some fun. I like that there's kind of an RPG aspect it.
We should group all 3 of us to play Star Allies or Kirby Clash.
That would be crazy.
It would be fun.
But in this game, it actually shows like hit points, and you see numbers come off whenever you beat an enemy. So you can kind of have good feedback as to how well your weapons are doing against any particular boss. And you have this little town that you start in, and you can choose which mission you want to take, and you can choose which equipment you want to use, and to see how effective or ineffective you're going to be against those enemies. So it's pretty cool. I like how they kind of adapted the Kirby style of gameplay to a more quote-unquote modern style of earning achievements and such. Yeah, so that is it, dude. We have gone through every single Kirby main series game ever made. How do you feel?
Good.
I have some questions for you now.
What?
So, what was your favorite Kirby game from this show?
I gotta say, well, I have 3. Super Kirby Clash, Kirby Star Allies. Well, I actually have 5. Yeah. Planet Robobot, Squeak Squad, and also Kirby Superstar.
That's a good top 5. I knew Superstar was going to be in there somewhere because you were hooked on that game for a while. There's a lot of content on that game. And what would you say is your favorite song from the show?
Galactonite 2.
Galactonite 2, the last one we just listened to?
Yep.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm going to put Robobot up at top. For me, I really, really enjoy that one. Star Allies is also incredibly fun. And Kirby Superstar. I think that's just a really quality title, especially for a Super Nintendo game. It just feels like they went above and beyond what they needed to do for that game. I'm going to have to, of course, put The Impudent Big Tree as my favorite song because I really enjoy all of Shoko Sakai's stuff. What have you learned about Kirby doing this show? What do you think of how Kirby has progressed from the original Kirby's Dream Land all the way up to Super Kirby Clash?
First, he started 8-bit from smooth round edges, but he's gone through a lot. King DDD did a lot, and the Squeaks too. And so did Meta Knight.
Yeah.
Same with Dark Meta Knight.
He's had a long and varied history. Do you think he's gotten better every single time, or do you think it kind of went up and down and up and down?
Kind of up and down and up and down.
Yeah, there were some clunkers, you know. Yeah. Kirby 64 was not the best Kirby game ever.
Yeah, it kind of went like... Okay. So
steadily increased,
Like-
but kind of went up and down as it
Yeah, like-
as it the mountain went up. Okay, so at least there was an increase over time. Anything else you want to say about Kirby before we wrap up the show?
He's the best character I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
He's your favorite character now?
Yes.
You feel closer to a character when you learn all about their history and get really familiar with it, don't you?
Yep.
What is your favorite character in the Kirby universe that's not Kirby?
Dark Meta Knight.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, I like the regular Meta Knight a lot. I think I said that before.
I like Dark Meta Knight because he's literally black, no blue in him. The wings are kind of a little torn up on the bottom, and on his mask there's kind of like a scar right on his left eye.
Yeah, he's very tough looking.
Yep.
He doesn't look like he will take any guff from anybody.
He looks like he won't even get hurt.
Don't mess with him.
Nope.
He'll mess you up.
Yeah.
All right.
If he was real, and if I was Kirby and you were Dark Meta Knight, we would just fight everyone. That's bad. And I could just suck them up and get their power.
And I guess I would just slice them and fly around a lot.
Yep. And I could also fly around. I could be like,
That would be a lot of fun. Do you have any ideas for future VG Embassy shows?
well, we already did the Yoshi one, so I don't really have any, do you?
We'll have to think of some.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll be doing another show sometime in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not sick of VG Embassy yet?
No.
Good. Because I love having you on with me.
Yep.
I had a ton of fun playing all these Kirby games with you and learning about Kirby and listening to some cool music. And I hope that we can play some more Kirby games together in the future. All right, so.
Even in 2020, where there's a new one. They
Sure.
might.
If
They
they
might
come out
be.
with a new Kirby game in 2020, we will.
And they might even come out with a new console.
Well, I don't know about a new console, but definitely a new Kirby game, at least within the next 2 years. They seem to come out every year, every other year, so. Or some crazy updates to Super Kirby Clash, because I think that's just kind of a base game that you're going to be adding on to, so maybe there'll be some additional modes.
Yep.
All right, so to wrap up the show, I want to thank Indira J for the art and Trevin Hughes for the podcast theme song. And, as always, you can find us at the VG Embassy on Twitter or on Instagram. You can visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/group/the VG Embassy, or check us out on thevgembassy.com. And there, you can also visit our Discord group, where we have a huge amount of fun people to talk to and hang out. Or you can go to patreon.com/thevgembassy to visit our Patreon page and check out some really cool tiers with some really good opportunities to take part in the various goings-on of the VG Embassy, and also have access to an exclusive channel on the Discord just for Patreon subscribers, where I will divulge spoiler information about upcoming shows, and you will also get access to a bonus episode every month called Embassy Exclusive. All right, you want to help me thank all of our lovely Patreon subscribers?
Yep.
All right, what's first?
Cameron Childs. And since we're rhyming, he'll run for miles. Michael Bridgewater from FSV.
The Forever Sound Version podcast. What rhymes with Bridgewater? How about he's feeling hot, so he wants to go get some fridge water?
Bridgewater, fridge water.
Yeah. Who's next?
Donovan or Oro.
Donovan Orofino.
Don't have any rhymes.
You can't ask to do rhymes and then not have any rhymes, bruh.
I don't have any rhymes for him. What rhymes with that? Well, we have Chris Murray, who's eating some curry.
I like it. I like it.
Chris Myers. He got some tires.
Sure. 4 new ones.
Ben the Dietitian. He's a fishman.
Gills and
He's
everything.
a fisherman.
He's a fisherman.
Chris Steenerson.
Nothing?
No.
Nothing?
Do you have any?
I don't have anything for Chris Steenerson. Let's move on to the next one.
Jordan Warma. He's gonna travel on vacation to Burma.
There you go. You said that last time.
Yep. Volts Supreme. Could I get some more cream?
I like it.
David Parrish. He has to clean a dish,
Sure. Why not?
because it's ish. Cameron Worma.
You got anything else besides Burma? Nothing else besides Burma, huh? So he's just gonna travel to Burma with his brother.
Don't have anything.
Okay.
Carlos. Marlos.
There's not much that rhymes with Carlos that I can think of.
Sarlos. Marlos. Darlos.
What about Carlito? Because he goes by that sometimes too.
Carlito is eating a curry chicken burrito.
That sounds delicious.
We got Scott
McElhone.
McElhone. Maybe you should get an iPhone.
Sure, why not? Go get an iPhone,
We
Scott.
got Alex the messenger. What rhymes with Alex? Talix.
Talix? Is that a word?
No.
Oh,
Is it?
it's not a word I've ever heard before.
Salix. Salads.
Salads?
That's all I could think of. That kind of rhymes.
Alex the messenger eating a salad, or eating salads. Alex eating salads. I don't know. I guess it doesn't
Alex
work too
salad.
well. Guys, you need to come up with better names. Legally change your names to things that we can rhyme with more easily,
Yeah.
please. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Like Alex the boomer.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay, now you're
Then
just
we
getting
could take
punchy. I think you're ready for some lunch, right?
No.
We'll go upstairs to the kitchen and inhale a whole bunch of food.
I'll inhale you.
Oh no! I'm not very tasty. And if you inhale me, then I can't make your lunch.
But then I'm gonna become you.
That's strange. I don't want to think about that. Hey Logie, thanks for joining me on the Kirby Show.
You're welcome.
So, next episode, I think I'm going to have one of your favorite people on, Logie.
Emily,
Emily.
she coming over?
Nope, she's not coming over. She's still in California, but we're going to do a remote.
Can she ever come over?
Maybe at some point, whenever she's in Massachusetts visiting her mom, she can see if she can make a trip down to see us. I know you miss her. Yeah, I'll be doing a show with Emily next episode, and that'll be a whole lot of fun. And I'll see you all in 2 weeks for that. And in the meantime, Logie, what are you going to be up to? Any new games you want to play?
I don't know.
No? Just going to concentrate on Super Kirby Clash and
Different games.
maybe play some different games on your iPad?
I don't even think there is any new games that are easy for me.
All right, well, maybe you can start playing some difficult games and practice and get better.
Difficult games.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm like a level easy medium.
I know.
Like between those.
Okay. Practice makes perfect.
So you gotta give me a medium, easy medium, or a medium.
Sounds good. All right, so we will see you next time on the VG Embassy. Bye, everyone.
See ya later. Bye-bye.